Hello again, it's the OhioRAAM Show coming to you from Southwest Ohio, where we like to say we have the largest concentration of RAM fans anywhere. I think we could successfully show that. And we are sponsored by the first two time stations you come to in Ohio. Time Station 41 in Oxford and Time Station 42 in Blanchester, Ohio. And these are fully staffed stations where we'll be there 24 hours a day. And for those of you who are in crews or racing, we have 24-hour food, 24-hour fuel, and 24-hour fans. So regardless of what time of the day or night you come through, there'll be somebody there to shout, to clap, to ring a cowbell and let you know that we're glad you are coming this way. On today's show, we have Guido Löhr from Germany. We'll be talking to him in a little bit here. But I wanted to just give you a few pieces of news. Probably most of you have heard all this news by now. But we were saddened by the fact that Shauna Hogan has had to drop out of RAM. As many of you know, she was trying to beat her own record, which she set back, in 1995 or 96, I think, from Seattle, Washington to San Diego, California. And she had a little wrestling match with one of her dogs a couple of years ago and injured her knee, I guess. I don't know all the details, but that knee injury came back to haunt her, and she had to quit her attempt and has now dropped out of RAM. And I'm sure that's a tremendous disappointment for Shauna. She has struggled with that knee issue and hoped, when I had her on the show, she hoped that she had the best of it. But these things happen. And Shauna, if you happen to hear this, we wish you the best. We know that this represents a major shift in your lifestyle and your image of yourself, I suppose. And we wish you the best. You are one of the greatest. You always will be. And we know you'll be out there riding your bike again, maybe not Seattle to San Diego, but you'll be out there, and we appreciate it. Also, a little bit of bad news, I guess, comes from Scott Ragsdale. It just seems like some of these riders in the race across America have a little cloud hanging over their heads. There used to be a comic strip here, Lil Abner, and there was a guy in there, Gloomy Gus, and everywhere he went, there's a little black cloud that followed him around, and it seems that way. Scott was going to do Race Across America, as we've announced on the show before. He's going to be on the show. And then his mother-in-law passed away, and because of circumstances around that, had to give up the idea of RAM. Instead, he was going to do the race around Slovenia. Well, a few days ago, he was in a taxi in Dubai, and the taxi was involved in an accident, and now it turns out that he's not going to be able to do that as well. Our best wishes to you, Scott. We know this is also a disappointment to you, but we know you'll be back and with us. Also, another little piece of news, I think many of you know this. I was interviewed, I mentioned this the last time I was on the last show, by Dick Armijo of the RAM Media, and he now put that on the Facebook page for the Race Across America. And I have embedded that on the show website, OhioRAAMShow.com. That's there. So we have those little pieces of news to share with you. My name is Lee Kreider. I'm the host of the show. And I do appreciate the interview that Vic did. I should have mentioned in that interview a couple of people that very important to OhioRAAM and to our time stations, and that is Martin Dressman, who, if it weren't for him, there wouldn't be any staff time stations here. He came up with the idea and twisted our arms and got us involved, and he's on to other things. He was going to crew for Shauna Hogan, but of course that's now brought to an end. And I think he's kind of casting about, seeing if he can't find somebody for which he can crew. I'm sure he'll find plenty of opportunities, because I think there's people out there looking for crew. So, also I should have mentioned Jim Löhr, who is manages OhioRAAM now and is the captain at Time Station 41 there at Oxford. He's responsible for all the awnings and all the electronics and all that stuff, and does a great job. And I'm sorry his name didn't get in the article, but I just wanted to make note of those two people. Also, this last weekend I was over to Springfield to the registration and then the race of Calvin's Challenge, and Larry and Christine, I think Christine gave me this t-shirt. I don't know if Larry knows it or not. The Grahams that run the show. This Calvin's Talents t-shirt. Thank you, Grahams, for that. You do such a great job over there. I met so many people that I hadn't seen for a while. I met some people that I'd never seen except on the show here, and met them face to face, and I met a few people who had seen me on the show, and it was just a great time. Windy as all get out, always is. There's no trees. It's open farmland, but and it's also cold. But I really enjoyed being over there, and just want to give a shout out to the Grahams for that tremendous job that they do. Now, I do see that we have viewers, and we appreciate you being here. I just want to tell you that if you'd like to come in and chat with our guest or toss your 2 cents in, you can do that. And the way you do it is to go to the OhioRAAMShow.com website, and at the very top of the page you'll see Join the OhioRAAM Show. Click on that, and you may have to jump through a couple hoops to get here, but we'll be glad to have you in here with us. That said, we're going to make our way now over to Germany and Guido Löhr. How are you today, Guido?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's a nice warm day here in Ohio for a change. I mean, it has been just the most strangest weather, but we finally have a warm day. I got the air conditioner running here in the house, as a matter of fact, and so that's quite a thing. What's the weather like over there?
It's not that warm here. It's like 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. But in the afternoon it was quite good. It was a bit warmer. But it rains some days, so it's not exactly nice for cycling and preparing for the hot conditions during RAAM. So.
Well, we can provide almost any kind of weather that you can think of on the race across America. You name it, you will have it. And I think sometimes we even provide some interesting things like a tornado here or there, just to keep life kind of interesting.
I would be happy with some tailwind. That would be enough for me.
Oh, Guido, we don't have tailwinds in the United States. I want to tell you that right off. Just take that out of your plan.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah.
I had a tailwind once, but I kind of forget where it was at. But by the way, not to digress, but I can kind of. I might tell. I'm not going to tell who it was, but there was a certain rider on the weekend on Calvin's Challenge that had a tailwind, and this rider, I almost gave away part of the secret of who it was. This rider enjoyed it so much that they decided not to make a turn in the race. Just kept right on going. I can understand that. I mean, it feels so good sometimes. You don't want to turn, do you, Guido?
Yeah, definitely.
You just don't want to turn. I mean, I don't want to go that way, please. Okay, enough of that. Guido, tell us a little bit about your cycling background.
Cycling background is, in fact, it's very small. My cycling background. I started when I was 14 or 15, I guess. I bought my first road bike, and well, I was cycling just for fun with a friend for maybe 3 or 4 years. I don't know. And then I stopped cycling at all. And so I really started back in 2007 when I made a great trip through Scandinavia with a bicycle. For 65 days I was on the road. It was about 5,900 kilometers I was going, and that was really a great experience for me. Not only the cycling, but the landscape and all that. And so I did another one in 2009, and still didn't drive a road bike. But when I came back from the second tour, which was in Great Britain, I bought a road bike, and I started cycling in the Alps. And I love to go uphill. I found out that. And so I really started to get into cycling, and I did my first Gran Fondo in 2010. And then from then it took off, got more and more. And so I did the Swiss Cycling Marathon in 2012. This is a place where you can qualify for RAM. Well, it was a great experience, and I realized that I can do long rides. So I did it in 2013 again, this time in the RAM qualifying mode with a team. And well, I qualified for RAM, so I decided to really do it then.
So you qualified at the Swiss Marathon, is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, very good. And so what prompted you to take on the race across America?
I heard, first time I heard about the race across America was in the early 90s, I guess. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was when Hubert Schwarz was racing, and I just noticed it, but I never spent more thoughts on it. And then when I got into cycling in 2009, into road bike cycling, I read about it again, and I saw the book of Michael Nils, the guy who slept very long during RAM, and so I got interested in it, but I was pretty sure that I don't want to do it because it doesn't make no sense to cycle such a distance and to have all the sleep deprivation. So I was pretty sure that I would never do it, but I was curious if I can qualify for it. So I did the qualification. When I really qualified, I was thinking like 2 weeks, or not thinking, I was fighting with myself for 2 weeks. If it wouldn't be a good idea to do it with all the money you have to raise, the team you have to find and to prepare all the things, the logistics, and I wasn't sure if it was really worth it. So because you have to do so many things that have to do anything with cycling. But then I find out that I really wanted to do something extreme, something different, something really challenging, and so I decided to go for it. And well, yeah, then I got then I I don't know the English word. I signed up for it, yeah. And the moment I did that, I had another 2 weeks, which really felt bad. But since then, it's fine. It's very cool. I like it very much to work for it and to prepare for it. Yeah.
Well, I'm certain we're going to be excited to see you here coming from Germany, and I know it's a very, very expensive proposition, particularly for those of you who have to come from a long distance because of the flights and and those kind of things. Not to mention the expenses of the race itself, which seems to keep growing with every year. So you have been able to raise the funds. Now, I understand that you're self-employed. Is that correct? What is your business?
Yeah, I'm in the IT business, and I'm self-employed, so that helps me with training because I can decide how much I work in a week. Maybe I can work 2 days or 3 days, and have 2 days off, so I can cycle much more than I could when I were not self-employed.
Yeah, give you some flexibility to pick your days.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And I believe you told me when we were having our initial contact that you are single.
Yeah, that's true.
At least that's what my notes say here. I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
So, is your crew all from Germany, or where do they come from?
Yeah, they all live in Germany, but there's one guy, he's Italian. He's from Sardinia, to be exact, and he's the cook, and he's a friend of mine. I'm cycling with him sometimes, and so the rest of the guys are all from Germany. Yeah.
How many crew members do you have?
I have 9, but one a friend of mine, he's in hospital right now, so he won't be able to come over to the United States. But of course, he's still part of the crew, so we're 9 people so far. And I'm still looking for what is it? I think it's called, to look that up. Sorry, physical therapist. So that's the one I'm still missing, and I hope I will have this the upcoming week.
Okay, well, let's see. I was going to look before the show started. Have you looked recently? How many days do we have?
I have it on the website.
It's getting closer and closer. Every day it gets a day closer. It's 34 days, Guido.
Yeah.
34 days to the start of the race across America. And while we're talking numbers, I believe this is show number. I've lost track of that too. Show 45. Jeremy mentioned that at the front. So the time is coming close. How soon do you expect to get here to the United States?
I'm leaving here on the 23rd. So I want to go to Oceanside for 1 or 2 days and then go to the desert to get used to the heat, because that's the most difficult part for me, I guess. I never cycled in such an extreme environment. I've been there in March, but of course it wasn't warm enough to really get an idea of what it would be to cycle in such heat. So that's what I want to do in the week or the weeks before the start, get used to the heat.
Yeah, that's probably the one thing that you can't prepare for in Europe. You don't have anything there quite like the Mojave Desert and some of those types of things. So that's going to be critical for you.
Yeah, there are some guys who were training in sauna, but I don't think that is really working, and I don't think you can get used to the heat like you can do when you're really in the desert.
Yeah, I forget who it was. Maybe Arvid Lowen. He would put one of these radiant heat lamps in front of him while he rode his stationary trainer, but there's nothing like being in the desert.
Yeah, I do a lot of training inside with a stationary trainer, and I don't use any cooling device or so. So I use a lot of sweat when I do that, and the body gets used to it. But it's still different when you're cycling outside, of course.
Well, Guido, often our lives have other things involved in cycling, although at the moment I'm sure that that's your number one focus. What else do you do for fun besides ride your bike?
Well, to be honest, the last, I think, 2 or 3 years, that was pretty much my main objection, or my main desire to really become better in cycling, and so I was pretty much concentrating on it. Of course, I love to meet people and have a cup of coffee and talk, but there's not much else I do at the moment for recreational purpose. I love my work. That's really it's really fun, and I really love to work. But my main focus now is completely on the race, and I should have actually enrolled for 2015 to get all things done and prepare very well. But I wanted to do it in 2014 because I think I'm getting older and older, and I want to do it as soon as possible. So I keep myself really busy with all the preparations. And
Well, I didn't look up your race age, but you're riding in the under 50 group. But what is your race age?
47.
47. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then in about 3 years, you can join the 50 to 59 group, Guido, and be the youngest one there.
To be honest, I think when I'm able to finish RAM, and I know the chance to do it is like 50-50 when you look at the statistics, but I hope to be prepared well and have a better chance to do it. But still, you need some luck and to really finish. And but if I finish, I'm pretty sure I won't do it again. I can't imagine that.
Well, you never know. I've heard that before.
I said that before with some things. Yeah.
Shauna Hogan, who we mentioned earlier in the show, said that doing RAM is like having a baby. Now, you and I don't know anything about that, but she said you I don't know why this is tickling me so, but she says you forget the pain until you do it again. So I have no personal experience to identify with that, except that it makes kind of a sense of.
Yeah, but it sounds very reasonable to me. Yeah, but it's really sad to hear that she can't compete in RAM this year. I was really looking forward to see her there because she's kind of a legend, definitely, when it comes to ultra cycling and the RAM. So
yeah, she's such a nice person too. We had her on the show a while back.
So like that.
We throw the word legend around sometimes kind of easily, and too easily, but Shauna is certainly one person who wears that title easily and well. And well, we mentioned before how sad we are she's not going to be involved. RAM is the ultimate test, and everything has to be right.
Yeah.
And you just never know what's going to happen. Even the great Yuri Robic had to drop out one year and came close to, I think close as I understand it, to being fatal when he had a embolism on Wolf Creek Pass. So, it is the ultimate physical stress.
Yeah.
And there's I think, just let me make a comment here. I think the persons who qualify for RAM are equal heroes to the people who actually finish it, but it can bring down the greatest at times. So, well, you're going to head out. What'd you say? The 23rd?
Yes, 23rd.
You're going right to California. Well,
Yeah.
I hope that we will be able to see you in Ohio. As I told a couple people, I've been promising too many people that I would try to see them. and I find that my promises probably wind up me being there 24 hours a day for 5 straight days, and I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But so I'm not promising that anymore, but there'll be somebody there, Guido, in Ohio to welcome you. I think we're kind of at a critical point. We're about 2,400 miles into the race, and where a lot of spirits need a little boost, and we're there to give you a boost, Guido.
Yeah, that's great. I really look forward to it.
Yeah, we'll try to give you a boost and give you a little encouragement as you have to face that that thing called West Virginia. A lot of people think they've got it made when they get to Ohio, but they still got West Virginia to deal with.
I was in March. I was having a training camp in the United States. I was driving the first, I think, 2,000 kilometers of the RAM course, and so it was all beautiful scenery. And when I came back, my crew chief, he had talked to Christoph Strasser, and he had told him that he should not tell me that all the rest of the road will be much different from the beautiful scenery you see at the beginning. Yeah. So I'm not sure what it will do to the racers, because you're like 3 days in the race when you come there, or maybe 4, and I don't think you get you really see much of the scenery at all when you come there, because you're like,
yeah, you're going to be kind of focused.
Yeah.
But you know, that's one thing about the Race Across America. It provides you just about every kind of challenge known to racing, between the desert, the higher mountains, and most people, Guido, complain more about the winds in Kansas than most anything else.
Yeah.
You were talking before the show about a tailwind, and or was it on the show? I don't remember. I'll have to look at the recording, but you know, it can be pretty horrible in Kansas. That seems to be the thing that most people dislike. I heard one person say they like Kansas, and I went and looked at the weather forecast, and I found out they did have sort of a tailwind, so their view was sort of distorted. Well, listen, Guido, we thank you for being on the show, and we wish you well. We hope that everything goes well for you. I I know that you're going to give it your best. Everybody does, and we appreciate that. So if you just hang around here a little bit while I do some end time stuff here, I'll be right back with you.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
And as we're closing down here, I just have a couple of things to share with you. Well, let's do this first. These links that are important for the Race Across America is the website for the time stations is OhioRAAM.org. The official website for the Race Across America is RaceAcrossAmerica, as you see it there, .org. And while I'm thinking of it, just take a moment to tell you that, well, I'll announce this later, but I am going to do a show to help people navigate that website, and we're going to be doing that a little later on. I always like to highlight John Foot's UltraRaceNews.com. So much good information there about what's going on in the field of ultra racing. Saw John at Calvin's Challenge, and he is so low-key and easy-spoken and just does a tremendous job. As for Guido, he has a website. You'll find it on the show notes for this show. I won't try to pronounce it there, and don't try to find it because it's on. Just go to OhioRAAMShow.com. You'll see a link there to it, and also a link to his Facebook page is there on the show notes, as are the links to all the other. I forgot to mention that those links are on the show notes as well, and there's also a link there to a chart that's on the website, the Race Across America website, that gives you the approximate arrival times that people that we expect at all the time stations along the way. Now, our next show is going to be next week, I hope. That sounds a little iffy. While I was at Calvin's Challenge, I did a lot of video recording. I think I came home with something like 55 or 60 little sound clips of the race, of the people there, talking to them. And I'm going to try to paste those together into a recorded show. That won't be live. I'll just upload it and make it known when it's finished. So that'll be. I'm shooting for the 13th, a week from today, to have that uploaded. And then on the 20th of May, I plan to have Andy Christensen from Denmark, who is going to be doing RAAM this year, the race across the West. So in fact, when the show's over, I'm going to get in touch with Andy about negotiating the times and all that sort of thing. Then, as I mentioned, on the 4th of June, I'm going to have this show to help you navigate the raceacrossamerica.org website and put together a little scheme that will help you be able to find when racers are going to arrive where they're at, how fast they're traveling, so forth, by the website, by the GPS system that the race has. This is the second year for the GPS system, and this is wonderful. You can track the racers down to very close to where they're at, and it helps us as fans a great deal. That said, I think we've taken care of all of our business today, and we'd like to thank you again, Guido, for being on the show, for taking time to be with us.
Thank you.
And to all of you out there who have watched and have supported the show in so many ways, as I found out this last weekend that the show does have a lot of supporters, and that's appreciated. It's a great ego boost, of course, but I won't deny that. But our purpose in being here is to simply support the sport of ultra racing as it's reflected in the Race Across America, and of course other events that happen around the world. Thank you for watching, and good day, good night, good evening, good morning, wherever in the world you happen to be. We appreciate all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you.